And this is maybe the most sort of beautiful, emotional moment out of all of the Star Wars films for me, is just the look on Han Solo's face.
Yeah.
And then this right here.
Yeah.
Not, I hate you, not I'm angry, not whatever, just a little bit of disappointment and mostly just sadness because I love you so much.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker. I'm a licensed therapist and I love movies.
I'm Alan Seawright. I am a professional filmmaker and I need therapy.
Let's do this. What do we got going on today?
Well, today I figured I would show you not a film, but a character from a series of films, get your reactions to his, I assume, pathology.
Who are we dealing with?
It's Kylo Ren.
Yes, that would be pathology, for sure.
Pathology, yeah.
You know, he is my favorite villain who also acts like my 5-year-old son. You know?
I will get into it more, but you know, after The Force Awakens, you know, a lot of people were kind of like bashing on Kylo Ren a little bit, like, oh, he's not as scary as Darth Vader. He's much scarier than Darth Vader.
Because Vader was in control.
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Captain Piet.
Yes, my lord.
Make ready to land our troops.
Yeah, and Kylo Ren is completely out of control and arguably just as powerful.
Sir, we were unable to acquire the droid on Jakku. It escaped capture aboard a stolen Corellian YT model freighter.
He turns like daring him to say more.
Stole a freighter?
Not exactly, sir. It had help.
This underling knows who he's dealing with.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's coming.
But we believe FN 2187 may have helped in the escape.
I love that you can see in his face the relief that he didn't actually get killed.
Yeah, take it out on the console. That's okay.
Yeah.
And I love the sound design on the lightsaber. Like, it's
so good.
Crackly.
Anything else?
He's all calm.
The two were accompanied by a girl.
What girl?
Okay, so filmmaking-wise, like, I love the attention. You can criticize a lot of things about J.J. Abrams, but there's this little attention to the minute, everyday details, like the way the boots scuttle across the ground.
That is such a great shot that most people would ignore.
Right.
It gives it energy, it gives it pop, and it tells you, like, that is a thing that you would notice if you're being lifted up and dragged. You'd be like, oh, my feet were bouncing across the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to deal with sort of his psychology here, first of all, you know, as a manager, not the best.
No.
Not going to get the best performance from your organization.
No, and that's actually a thing about being a parent or being a manager, any sort of leadership position, is that if people fear you, you will actually be the least in the know in your organization or in your family because they'll be scared to report to you. This guy was terrified to report.
Yeah.
And people will keep things from you because they don't want that sort of, I'm going to choke you out reaction or chew you out in front of your peers.
So fear-based leadership, not good?
It gets short-term results.
Okay.
Long-term, it's like it will completely ruin whatever you're trying to do.
So I know you're enjoying this video a whole lot because you've been watching it for several minutes now. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get more content just like this.
And if you feel like watching this film, it's on, or all this trilogy of films, it's on Disney+. We've also included links below for you to purchase them or rent them from Amazon. We get a little kickback, which helps us to make more videos for you.
I see it. I see the island.
So already, though, one thing that we see is that he sees her as a peer. I mean, this is a theme that plays out throughout this trilogy, is that he recognizes her as a fellow Force user, and therefore he treats her with a modicum of respect. I'm a big believer in the concept of we treat people with respect not because of who they are, but because of who we are.
Right.
Right? And I think when he was Ben, before the dark side overtook him, he was probably more like that type of person. But now that he's in his dark place, he only respects the people that he thinks deserve his respect.
Right.
Instead of, I try to be a respectful person.
Well, you look at his interactions with Rey versus his interactions with General Hux, who he just treats like garbage
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't respect Hux because Hux isn't a Force user.
Shall we destroy the city?
To him, having the Force means you're a worthwhile person.
Oh, that's where he recognizes it.
Yep.
That's great acting right there.
Such good acting.
On both their parts. You see the turn, it's so subtle, but like, he recognizes he's dealing with something, a threat now.
Yeah, so he already looks threatened, and you can see on her face as well.
She knows it.
I figured it out.
You're afraid that you will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
And to him, Darth Vader is his grandfather, not Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
And he doesn't want the light.
Yeah.
He doesn't want it, but it's gonna keep coming after him.
Yep.
Your son, he's gone. He was weak and foolish, like his father. So I destroyed him.
Can we talk about something for a second? There's something that I think is kind of implicitly woven throughout Star Wars, but maybe not discussed enough, is, you know, Anakin Skywalker was weak, so I killed him,
Yep.
right? Ben Solo was weak, I destroyed him. Like this dual identity that Anakin and Vader are literally two separate beings almost, right? And you see it in Rise of Skywalker. I had screenplay problems with Rise of Skywalker, but Adam Driver's performance when he goes back to Ben, like the performance is so solid.
The performance is really good.
And you're like, holy cow, like Ben Solo was super likable.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's like this.
So he's because he's a Solo, right?
Right.
He's likable. He's funny.
He plays it like he's Han's son.
And there's just the little tiny moments. We'll get to a couple of them, but my favorite is, you know, he's fighting the Knights of Ren and he pulls the lightsaber out of nowhere and then he just goes, eh.
Like, come on.
Okay, I
just
can
like
see Han Solo
in Return of
doing
the Jedi,
that.
like, and how he like blasts behind him. But so here, like, I see Kylo Ren as like a dark version of Ben. It's like the other side of the coin. And anytime someone's overtaken by the dark, they want to pretend the light version no longer exists.
Yeah.
That's what Snoke wants you to believe. But it's not true.
So from a filmmaking standpoint, this scene
My
is,
son is alive.
you know, interesting. Han Solo from the left, Kylo Ren from the right. In Western cinematography, people coming in from the left are usually the hero. People coming in from the right are usually the villain. They're literally crossing a bridge to each other. Mm-hmm. And then there's also the lighting. You can see there's a lot more blue light as a rim on Han Solo. And then, of course, as the sun goes out, it fades and we just go to a full red on Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's not subtle, but it is fun telling you through the cinematography and everything else what's happening inside his brain.
Yeah, and it's poetic. I mean, the whole crossing the bridge thing, like, I'd never thought of how that is a symbolization of what's metaphorically happening.
Yeah.
You know, as Han is, and you notice that Ben stops, but Han keeps going towards
Han
him.
crosses the bridge towards him.
And Ben doesn't, or Kylo at this point.
Will you help me?
And this is this is all-time great performance. You know, whether or not the script lived up to it, these two guys are just crushing it right here.
Yeah, in both their major scenes together in this sequel trilogy, they're so great together.
So good.
But here it's interesting. This is a version of Ben. Will you help me? I know what I have to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. It's not a trick in Kylo's eyes. He's literally asking his dad, "Please, this is what I want. This is who I want to be. Will you help me?"
And
right?
the sun goes out, and that last moment of will he, won't he?
Yeah.
Nope, it's just darkness and red. And Han sees it.
Yeah.
And this is maybe the most sort of beautiful, emotional moment out of all of the Star Wars films for me, is just the look on Han Solo's face
Yeah.
And then this right here.
Yeah.
Not, I hate you, not I'm angry, not whatever, just a
Yeah.
little bit of disappointment and mostly just sadness because I love you, son.
Yeah. It's his last act as a father, right? Which is why when we talked about in a previous video, which if you haven't watched it, you should, how Kylo replays this moment and tries to do it right, like gets a redo. So, you've seen that comic?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah?
That to me is canon. So
Okay.
there's a comic, I don't know if you've seen it, I'll put it in the video so you can see it, but it's a panel of Chewbacca seeing, you know, Kylo Ren kill Han Solo, and then several panels of Chewbacca remembering Ben Solo as a child. And
Because he's got Kylo in his crosshairs like a headshot, like a kill shot.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a kill shot. And then it's all of these memories of Kylo Ren, or of Ben Solo as a kid growing up playing with him, because he would have.
Yeah.
And then the bottom panel, he switches down and shoots him in the hip
Yeah, because he can't. He still can't. Yeah.
instead. I'm crying about a comic strip that is not even part of the movie. What is wrong with me?
I think the question is, what is right with you? We all should cry over comic strips, you know?
Apparently.
You're a monster.
It's just us now. Han Solo can't save you.
See, and he reminded himself, okay, this is one of my favorite things. He reminds himself about his dad. The way I read this scene is he thinks about his dad and it tempts him to the light side again. And so to get that out of his head, he starts hitting himself in the injury to make him angry again.
Yeah.
So that he can flush that out and just be all dark side again.
Quick tangent. People ask me, why do people engage in self-harm? Like, why is that a thing?
Right.
Because people who don't have that urge don't understand it. They're like, why would you hurt yourself? What's up with that? And there are several reasons, but one of them is to replace emotional pain with physical pain.
Sure.
I would rather be in intense physical pain than think about or feel what I'm thinking and feeling right now. And he just killed his father, and Ben Solo's still in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's tearing him up, so I would rather hurt. I'd rather physically hurt. So I think it's a dual thing. It's replacing that emotional pain with physical, and it's upping the anger, like the pain and the anger.
Yeah.
And how does she beat him? He has more training, but it's like, frankly, her midi-chlorians are off the charts.
I will pretend you did not say that. I'm so angry right now. I was having a good time watching a movie with my friend, and now I'm just mad.
You should punch yourself in the hip.
No midi-chlorians! Take that ridiculous thing off. Like, you know, we get a hint of it in Force Awakens and a lot of it in Last Jedi. Finding out that, you know, Ben Solo becomes Kylo Ren because Luke made a mistake. And then he runs into the arms of an abuser.
Yeah.
And it feels so right for a Force, like a dark side master, to just be an abusive, terrible
father figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your spirit to the bone.
Well, and Ben, and it's hard to say Kylo, you know, Kylo here, or Ben here is...
Lightsaber, you failed!
You get the sense that Han was less of a... Han was not an abusive father, but a neglectful father. Is probably, you know, I see Han as one of those fathers who really loves his kid, but he's kind of trapped in some masculine ideals and doesn't know how to show
and he's
it.
on the road all the time.
Yeah, but you know, like Han's not a sentimental person. So I see Ben, when he says Han would disappoint you, like I see Ben growing up with a Han who really loved him, but never really knew how to show it.
Right.
And maybe they were very different, you know, and so there's no... And I think that's why Han's death is so powerful, is only at the end is he really like showing his son the tenderness and affection that he should have shown all along. And Ben's like, it's too late, right? But the thing that we do in life is we try and we recreate areas where we feel like we failed or we were traumatized or where it was painful for us. We recreate it trying to win.
Right.
And so Kylo, like, what does he do? He goes from one father figure to the next. He goes from Han to Luke.
I failed you, Ben. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you are.
But now he's on to his third father figure, and he's once again trying to gain approval from a father in his life. I'm not winning this fight.
Let the past die.
Let the past die. I'm gonna kill this. I've killed two father figures. Like he kills Han, he kills Snoke, and at the end he's trying to kill Luke. Like he's trying to just like wipe out this whole crusade for acceptance. And he's like, I am all I need.
Well, this moment where I think this is the moment where he decides, I'm not going to be anyone's baby anymore.
Yeah. I'm not chasing Vader. He says, take that ridiculous mask off, is, you know, what Snoke says. Like, I'm gonna be my own person now because I'm tired of the rejection.
So I love the filmmaking, how they do this, the quick fades. This is borrowed from Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, when Luke reaches out to Leia, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we see a change here or a different relationship.
Yeah.
Because he needed help, but he was perfectly willing to push the button on his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he lets his finger off of the button here. Is that a change in him, or is that just a different relationship with his mother? What are your thoughts?
It's both, because his mother clearly always accepted him.
Yeah.
And Leia clearly always showed him affection and unconditional love. But with his father, he felt detached and resentful. In his eyes, Leia's a pure soul.
Yeah.
You know? And in his quest to bring order to the galaxy, he can justify a lot of things, but this is not one that he can.
Yeah.
And I think that's our biggest indicator as an audience, that Ben is still in there somewhere.
100%.
Why is the Force connecting us? You and I.
Murderous snake! You're too late. You lost. I found Skywalker.
Did he tell you what happened? The night I destroyed his temple, did he tell you why?
I know everything I need to know about you.
You do? You do.
I love that line.
You do?
Oh, you do. Not because you actually know anything, but because no matter what I tell you, nothing is going to change. Kylo Ren and Rey, and having this connection and all of these things, is one of the most satisfying protagonist-villain stories in any movie ever. It's just so good how they connect. They're alike, but they're different.
Yeah, and she's more, you know, there's a bunch of Reylo people who want them to get together romantically, but like at this point in the story, like is she intrigued by him? Yeah,
sure.
Like and
who would not be sexually attracted to that?
Do you have something, a cowl or something you can put on?
No, I'm just kidding. I totally am.
He's
beautiful.
He is a gorgeous man.
And yes, I know my wife can hear me. That's part of it. Sneeze in my McFlurry, you pensive bison.
But there is no, in her mind, there is no romantic potential here.
No, no, no.
But she does know the story of Luke and Anakin, and she believes in the redemption, like I can bring him back.
Yeah.
And if anything, she feels, because of her connection to Leia, connection to Han, connection to Luke, an obligation to continue. You know, Kylo's like, I'll continue what you started, grandfather. Rey is essentially saying to Han and Leia and Luke, I'll continue what you started and I'll bring him back.
Yeah. Beyond that, she is extremely sensitive in the Force. She can feel the light inside him.
And I mean, his interest in her is more, he's lonely.
Yeah.
He's so lonely. I mean, that's one of his defining traits is just how lonely he is. And in her, he sees
an equal.
Yeah.
Because he's never had an equal before. He's had a father figure.
Yeah.
Or he's had underlings who are less powerful than him, but here's someone who's as powerful as him, as raw as he is.
Yeah.
And they can be equal together. It's not a power imbalance.
And I'll say this about Kylo Ren. For all his faults, he does not objectify her or treat her as less than him.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how could you? Leia's his mom.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage chute, flyboy.
You don't grow up Leia's son being like, oh, women are objects.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, that's true. Fair point.
I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten.
And people are mad because Snoke dies and they wanted their Snoke theories fulfilled and what have you. But the fact is, like, it's actually about Kylo and his arc and him ridding himself of this, seeking approval from a father figure.
Much, much more satisfying than any, who is Snoke and where did he come from?
Yeah.
He's not a character in the story. He's a MacGuffin.
Yeah. He's a MacGuffin with great mocap by Andy Serkis.
Oh, yeah.
That death face was awesome.
Great performance, absolutely fantastic animation and design on the character, all of that. The body falling in half is so funny.
I just noticed that the lightsaber cuts through the hands that were in front of it, and the hands fall off too.
Yeah. No,
and now they
do not shy away from like lightsaber gore in this movie at all.
No, but look at this. They look at each other and they're both like, "You with me? Yeah, I'm with you." But once again, they're both drawing a completely different conclusion about what that means.
Wrong conclusion.
So they're fighting together, and it's only when the fight's done they're like, "Yeah, yeah," and then
The Sith, the Jedi, the rebels, let it all die. Rey.
Look at everything cascading behind. I mean, we're supposed to be focusing on thematic, and I'm just admiring the filmmaking. It's beautiful.
Yeah, this is by far the most beautiful Star Wars film, as far as the way it was shot and designed.
Holding on! Let go!
Yeah.
Do you want to know the truth about your parents? Or have you always?
You're still holding on, let go. I mean, so often we want people that we want to have some sort of relationship with, to see it our way, to do it our way. And we feel threatened. If someone takes a different path than me, what does that mean for us?
Right. Does that mean I'm wrong?
And does that mean I'm wrong? Yeah, it's a threat to my perspective. And in a truly healthy relationship, there's an acknowledgement of we can see the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
We can draw different conclusions. And the fact is, honestly, in a healthy relationship, there's very few things that are actually wrong.
Right.
Like cheating is wrong, dishonesty is wrong, abuse is wrong. Literally everything else is an issue of perspective. And yet we get gridlocked into these, like, I'm trying to get you to see things my way, concede the point, and give up your completely foolish perspective. Because if you were smart, you'd see things the way I see them.
To be fair, people who squeeze toothpaste from the middle of the tube are wrong.
Oh, so much hatred.
Played so well, too.
See you around, kid.
Just the realization that he's been had, that Luke has bested him once more. And also, at this point in his journey, he still thinks violence is the solution. He was bested, and not even bested in battle. Like literally, Luke was just the better man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It completely deconstructs everything that he thinks he knows about the Force and power.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way, and he realizes it. As he's sticking the lightsaber into Luke and it's not doing anything, you can see his entire worldview crumbling. What?
Yeah.
What?
It's not simple confusion about projection Luke, because Ben already understands that concept. He's been learning about it the whole film.
Sure, well, and yeah, I mean, they've been projecting to each other and all that stuff.
It's I got beaten this way. What does this say about everything that I hold dear?
Yeah.
This moment, I think, is actually the seed for the turn back.
I think you're absolutely right. It's Luke's final victory, right? She beats him.
Yeah.
And then she realizes, oh wait, that wasn't the Jedi way to do things. I'm going to do things the Jedi way.
Yeah. And once again, this is playing on what you just brought up, how Luke won at the end of Last Jedi, how it challenges Kylo's entire worldview. This takes it one step further. You don't save your enemies.
No.
You don't show compassion to people who've done terrible things. Kylo Ren has been trying to get acceptance. Okay, I haven't got acceptance, so I'm just going to go for power. And then Luke challenges his worldview by resolving it non-violently.
Yep.
And then Rey challenges his worldview by extending compassion to an enemy.
Yep.
And so this is when we talk about light side versus dark side, and the dark side rushing in, but the light side rushes in equally powerfully to kick out the dark. It's all about the choice of the person. And I see this at this moment where Ben starts to reawaken, and the last step for Ben to finally come back is this.
Yeah.
Ben.
Then we get easily the best scene in this film.
Yeah. I mean, we knew the performances would be, but whatever writing problems I have with this film, they nailed this scene.
Yeah,
with
this
screenwriting.
This is not a writing problem right here.
Dad.
I know.
Ben's back.
Yeah. And we symbolize that by throwing away his dark side lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then here, Ben has fully reemerged.
He, as Ben, can't live with what he did as Kylo.
No.
The only thing that he loves now is her. So sacrificing himself to bring her back, like, he couldn't have a happily ever after because he can't live with himself.
Not only can he not live with himself, the galaxy can't live with him. He's going to be, if there's any justice, he'll be locked up in prison and slowly cut to death by a million lightsabers. I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's caused billions of deaths.
Yeah. And so there is no happily ever after. What there is, though, is
what there is an emotional.
Yeah. The one way that they encapsulated all of Star Wars and Rise of Skywalker is redemption through compassion. And that even the worst of people or the meanest of people, they are responsible and accountable for their choices, as he was. Like, he gave his life. Like, But usually people go bad because they're hurting.
Right.
You know? That was Anakin's story, that was Ben's story. And I see this as whatever flaws Rise of Skywalker has, it does bring a nice thematic closure to Ben/Kylo. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Kylo Ren is such a great villain, you know, starting off as just a tantrum-throwing, super powerful toddler.
Yeah.
And ending up, you know, this complicated, torn person who at the end makes the right choice and the ultimate right choice, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, he's not sacrificing himself to save millions of people or, you know, make the obvious play.
Yeah.
It's a one-for-one swap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die so that she can live.
Yeah.
So he looks at the universe and says, the universe is a better place with her in it than with me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome. But showing love and compassion to people is literally the only thing that will change hearts.
Yep.
Right? Like, we can change minds other ways, but changing hearts comes from the type of love the entire Star Wars series is about. And that's why, like, warts and all through the whole thing, like, it is Star Wars is super flawed, but it is my biggest fandom because that is what it's about.
It's the world's biggest fandom.
Yeah.
You're not alone, my friend. Everyone loves Star Wars, and there's a reason.
So until next time, stay close to loved ones, force heal your owies, and watch movies.
What's wrong with you? You realize we're strangers, right? I don't know you. And now random people on the internet stan us,
Right.
claiming that you thirsting over me is a mood.
You're right, Adam. I get it.
I'm sick of people stopping me on the street and asking me if I'm going to punch a hole in you like a Marriage Story wall.
That's complete.